Readers Entertainment Radio presents Booklights with your host, author Lisa Kessler. Booklights, where we're shining a light on good books.
It's Monday. Can you guys believe it? We're heading into April this week. I just can't believe how fast time rushes by. Anyway, it's also a release day for me, so Sedona's Sacrifice is out there, Single Dad Werewolf. I hope everybody will go check that out. And I'm double excited today because on Booklights we have a writer friend of mine, and you guys know how much fun I have when it's somebody I know on the show. But today we have Shawn on, and she has a book coming out tomorrow. So anyway, we are all having book birthdays. But if you have not read Ray yet, you're in for a huge treat. And I'll read her bio here for you. Shawn began writing to see more characters like her doing the hard jobs that typically were seen by male characters. She is from California and tends to write romance, suspense, or mystery that occur in her home state. In her free time, she likes to binge-watch reruns of Supernatural, and really, who doesn't, right? Read books of all genres or watch anime. You can find out more and sign up for her newsletter on her website. I did put a link right there on the Blog Talk site, so if you're listening live or if you're listening later, you can click that link anytime and sign up for her newsletter. And without any further delay, are you there, Ray?
I am. Thank you for having me.
Yay. Thanks so much for coming on. Do you want to tell everybody about Calculated Reaction, the book that comes out tomorrow?
Okay, yes. Calculated Reaction is book 2 of my Reaction Chronicles series. The series follows a journalist and her fiance, who is a detective with the LAPD. And in the second book, they are continuing their hunt of a serial killer who got away from them in the first book. So that's interesting.
Nice. And how many books will there be in this series, do you know?
It's a trilogy, so the next book, it'll be wrapped up.
We'll finally get to see who the killer is?
Oh, no, we know in the first book, but they keep alluding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The law might catch up to them by the third book.
They're an interesting character. There's a little twist. So in the first book, towards the end, you find out who the serial killer is. And it's kind of shocking, like, oh, what? Okay. And in the second book, they're spending the whole time trying to catch them. But things happen that they weren't expecting, which kind of derails them going after them directly. And so what they have to do is kind of like fix one situation, which is directly tied to pursuing the serial killer again. And the serial killer is just sitting back laughing like, ha, good luck.
I love that. And so it's called the Reaction Chronicles. Do you want to is that tied into the plot of the books? It sounds like they're constantly the serial killer is making them react, right?
Yes, it's a little bit of both. So the serial killer began, without giving too much away, they began doing the killings for a reason. It was a reaction to something that happened. And the way the journalist catches on to the murders is because of a reaction to something that happened in her life. And the main characters are the journalist and the serial killer, her husband or her fiance turned husband in the second book because they get married. He's more of a secondary character, but he does move the plot along enough that he is, like, you can consider him a third main character. It's like you would think the serial killer is the antagonist, but no, they are a main character themselves. It's like that anti-hero situation.
Okay.
So it's like, everything is right. I'm great. I'm doing what's perfect. Are you really?
Well, they always say the villain is the hero of his own story. They always believe in why they're doing what they're doing.
Absolutely. And this serial killer definitely thinks that way. And what I love about the serial killer I created is that while you're reading it, you're thinking one way about them, and then as the story progresses, you're like, oh, never mind, I changed my mind.
That's very cool.
It's just a constant twist and turn. You never know what's going to come out of the serial killer's mouth.
Well, and it sounds like they evolve as the story goes, which is always fun too.
Definitely.
Is it kind of Dexter-like? I mean, everybody likes Dexter because you end up liking the serial killer, but is it kind of along those lines?
It kind of is, actually. It was sort of Dexter inspired because I watched Dexter religiously.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And like watching Dexter, I was like, you know what? Okay, I get it. Like sympathy for the killer because of the various things they went through, and you want to root for them. You don't want them to get caught. But mine will definitely get caught because they are a little like they're not Dexter. Dexter was doing it for the right reasons. They think they're doing it for the right reasons, but they are not doing it for the right reasons at all. And it might have started out that way, but it progressively shifts gears, and you're just like, okay, so I see where you began, and I get it. I'm rooting for you. That's great. But then it's just like, wait, what are you doing?
Yes. And when you were writing this book, the second book, Calculated Reaction, was there a moment in that book? What was your biggest surprise when you were writing that? Because even if you're a plotter, sometimes the books or the characters surprise you. Do you remember what your biggest surprise was in this one?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think on that. Okay, so I plot. I don't really plot, or like I don't know. I call myself a skeleton writer. I write out the basic bones of what I want to do, and it's not exactly a full plot, but it's not really pantsing it either because it hits all the major points and a few of the smaller ones that I want to do. And then once I go back and start over the first draft, I then add all the veins and all the muscles and the connective tissues and everything. I know that sounds so weird, but obviously as a serial killer, I should think that way, right?
Yes. It totally makes sense.
Right. So after I did that first draft and I started going back and adding all the layers to it, there was this particular scene where the journalist was kind of like, she was sitting on the floor in her living room, really distraught about something that she realized was connected to something the serial killer did. And she's just bawling her eyes out, eating ice cream. And her fiance comes home and he just, comes and sits down behind her. And it's just this really cute, tender moment. And then the phone rings and the serial killer is calling her. And she's just like, are you kidding me right now? And I didn't expect to write that scene. And it was just this really shift of intense, I can't say words, intense emotion, where she was just like, I am so distraught, I'm so upset, I don't know what I'm going to do, how did I get into this situation, how do I fix it? And then the phone rings and she's just like, you. And all the sadness dissipates, and she's just like fury, like this ball of anger. And her fiance, he's her husband at that point. He gets up and walks away like, yeah, nope, I'm going to go take care of what I need to do over here while you take care of that phone call because I'm not getting burned.
Oh, good plan. Yeah, I love the surprises. That's always what keeps me writing. That's my favorite part of writing is when there's a big surprise that I didn't see coming, because then it's almost like, we're taking dictation and writing this stuff down. It's really a neat moment for me anyway. Do you enjoy that, or do you go, no, why are you disobeying?
Oh, I love it because I will have this whole plan of like, I want the story to end like this. I want these things to happen in the middle. These are my guaranteed bones. I'm like, you can't have you need your kneecaps so you can walk, like kind of situation. And they'll be like, well, I don't want those kneecaps. I want those kneecaps. And I'm like, but that's not what I signed up for.
That wasn't what I had planned on my skeleton plan.
Change it up a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go with it. Where are we going? You're taking me on a ride now. So where are we going?
Right. I love that. So for people who haven't read you yet, you've written contemporary romance and romantic suspense. Are there any other genres that you're dying to write?
Oh, I have this plan for a paranormal romance bubbling in the back of my brain, but
what? I love paranormal romance.
I had no idea.
You're shocked, right?
I am like in complete and utter shock. Like, what? You love paranormal? What? No, actually, you kind of inspired some of the ideas that I wrote down. Like, oh, I could probably do this one day. I want to write a vampire. Everybody has a vampire. I think that is literally something that came out of your mouth at one point. Everybody has a vampire novel in them.
Everybody has a vampire book in them.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write this down because one day maybe I'll write a vampire. And then I had a couple other ideas too. So I have like a bubbling in the back of my, like sitting on my brainstem, just tip tapping a couple different paranormal ideas. But I feel like it's out of my wheelhouse, so I really have to not have anything on my plate before I dive into that, so I can really make sure that it comes out well. Because nobody wants to read a poorly, especially like paranormal or sci-fi or fantasy, anything like that. Like, nobody wants to read a poorly built book. Like, you need to know if it's a monster, you need to know your monster. If it's magic, you need to know your magic. Even though you can add your own spin to it, you just need to have the basics. And reading something and writing it is completely different.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. I consume a lot of paranormal, but
So I know that in the calculated reaction that's coming out, we have a journalist. How much of you is in that heroine, do you think?
A good portion of her is like my mindset when it comes to the journalism side of it, not her behaviors outside of her work, but definitely like her work ethic and having like really wanting to get the story out for a particular reason. For those that don't know, in my regular life, when I'm not doing my authoring, I am a journalist. So it was really easy to write her because I could inject what I feel like a journalist is instead of like how sometimes they're portrayed in fiction writing, like, oh, well, the journalist did this, so it made it really hard, or they put this story out, so now we're having this struggle. And I'm like, but you're not getting both sides, and that's not really fair. So you kind of get to see the motivations why. And I feel like I'm not what is the best saying that I can think of for when someone's talking about a journalist is kind of like they dig through the muck and they put it out there, making people look bad. And it's like, but you were doing it. So I'm not digging through the muck to make you look bad. I'm just bringing it to light.
Right. There wouldn't be any
really
muck if you hadn't done it.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be out here for me to pull up and dust off and show the world. And that's really like what she likes. Like that's her purpose. So she is a crime reporter. She goes to all the press conferences when something happens, hit and runs, gang shootings, mayoral stuff that is related to police involvement where they're like getting more funds, anything crime related, she's there and that's what she does. So she's very about getting the information out because she experienced something when she was younger and couldn't stop it and couldn't bring justice. And she's like, I don't want anybody to experience what I went through when I was a kid. So I want to, like, make sure that these people have voices, even if they're dead or their family has closure or whatever. So when the situation in the first book happens, she's very so driven to figuring out exactly what's going on. Because in the first book, it's not really clear if there's a serial killer. And she figures out, she puts it together, not the police, which also pisses off because, you know, law enforcement and journalists don't really get along, which is why I love having her fiance be a detective. There's some tension in that first book because she figures some things out and she's like, look, I need to put this out there. And he's telling her, don't do it. And she's like, And they, you know, there's a whole blow up and she puts it out there anyway. And she's like, I warned you. And in the second book, they're more a cohesive, like, put together pair where it's like, all right, look, I know that you're going to do something, so just let me know so I can be prepared for it. And I put a lot of me into that because it's just like you don't want to hurt your friends and family and your loved ones because of something that you need to do career-wise, but not doing it might harm more people, so at least talking to them. And that's my mindset, and I gave that to her, even though she's a little more gun-ho, and I'm just going to jump right in. You're just going to have to deal with it. Like, that's her. So maybe back to the question, I'd say probably like 70-75% of me is in her character, but then there's that other 25% that weighs way more.
her drama attitude is not you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So whenever I've taught writing classes, anybody who comes in who's a journalist always has a really hard time at first writing fiction because they have to turn off the journalist part of your brain that's going, is that true? Can I verify it? You know, all that. Did you struggle with that at the beginning of writing fiction? Did you have to remind yourself, I'm God, I can make this happen?
It was a little bit of both because I started writing poetry when I was a teenager, and then middle school, going into high school years, I wrote poetry, and then toward the middle of high school, I was in a journalism class, so my brain switched, and then in college, I went back to fiction writing, but I didn't put my first book out until last year, so at the point of last year, I had literally been in my journalism career. I graduated in 2018, and I had started, I had did my program for 3 years. I had started working at a newspaper, and I was all fact-based. Not fiction-based. Fact-based.
Yeah, don't get them mixed up.
Everything was verified, right? Not right now. Don't mix them up. Everything was like literally. Like, this is not me saying it. This is a fact. This is what happened. Here's the person who told me the information. Here's the report. Like, that's where my brain was. And then when I decided to start writing because of various situations that were happening, because I had already built a story, I kind of went back and was looking at that. And it's like, oh, right. I don't have to talk in a particular type of way because it's still me telling a story, but I don't have to go, well, this is the fact, this is the fact, this is the fact. No, it's more so here's this great story. Let me tell you what happened.
Right,
so
right.
It wasn't too hard for me to turn it off because of that, thankfully, because I had been going back and forth between the two worlds.
Yes, you had been ambidextrous already.
Yes.
So what was your writing? I mean, you sort of just touched on that, but your readers always want to know what the writing journey looked like to getting that first book published. So, but you sound like you started writing early, right? How did you finish your first book?
Oh, okay. Well, here, let me tell you a quick version of it.
The crazy journey.
It was a little crazy. So I started into my career in journalism, and situations ensued, and I ended up stepping back for a moment to take care of things in my personal life. And during that time, I got injured. And that was about a year and a half so later. So I was kind of in a situation where I'm like, I couldn't go back to work because it was a leg injury. I wasn't in school. I was kind of just sitting at home in this like bubble on the couch looking like a little potato. And because I'm brown, that is even funnier. But, sitting there, I was just watching a lot of TV, and I had started reading books again because I hadn't really got off reading for a while to focus, quote unquote, on my career and building it up to read.
Yeah.
So I had started reading again, and I was binge watching TV, trying to keep myself in high spirits because of my injury. And my first book I wrote is in a different series, but I literally just sat in front of my computer for hours every single day for 3 weeks, and I wrote a 75,000-word book in like 20 days.
Wow, you were inspired.
Yeah, it was really my coping mechanism to keep myself from like falling into potential depression, and I felt it, and I didn't want to be in that dark place because no one wants to be in a depression, and you try to find things to lift your spirits, and writing really did that. I realized how much I loved writing, no matter if it was a fact-based article to spread information to, people about various different things, or a fiction-based novel that can bring joy or information as well, because you can sprinkle different things of truth into your books that are just like, I didn't even think about that, but it's also in an entertaining way where you get to read this story that may or may not be something that can happen in reality. And that's kind of what I did. Like, my books are kind of based on things that could really happen, but you also get to learn and about various different situations that are happening in the world on a regular basis. So there are serial killers out there who think they can get away with murder because of whatever reason.
Right.
And, you get the struggles of, like, you get familial struggles, you get spousal struggles, you get internal struggles, you get people going back into your life, their minds, and thinking like, oh, wow, I see why I'm acting this way. I see why I went down this path. And then you get, some sexy times. So I was able to mold all that together because of, like, my brain being like, I don't want to be in this depression. I want to be able to create a story that's going to make me happy. And if it makes me happy, I know that it'll make someone else happy too.
Oh, I love that. And you were saying that you went through a big reading spurt, and obviously that inspired you. Who are your go-to authors where you're like, I know if I read this book, I'm going to be so inspired that I'm going to get back to the keyboard? There's always somebody that you read that you're just like, I want to write. I need to go right now. So who inspires you?
It's kind of all over the board, honestly. There's the traditionally published huge big authors like James Patterson and Stephen King and Nora Roberts, but then there's the indie published authors, or the hybrid published authors like yourself, because I read your books and I'm like, I love the way she built this.
Oh, thank you.
There's Ryan. There's so many people. Kay Sterling, a lot of people that you had on recently, I read because we're all in that same group together, and we kind of get to see each other go through the process. But my go-to authors, right now I'm reading a lot of, funny enough, Ian Fleming, because I'm working on developing a Assassin series, so it's kind of like spy-related in a way. But
okay.
I also
You're reading some 007.
Yes, I'm into like the third or fourth book in the series, and it's totally not the way the movies were made, so that's interesting. But I recently discovered this author named Karen Rose, and she has this, she's a romantic suspense author, and she has this series where she's great. I love her. And I started reading You Belong to Me, her first book in one of her series. I can't recall the name of the series, but I love it. I love the way she builds the two characters up and how she is able to combine the romance and the suspense, especially because I want to make sure that I'm doing it in a way where it's not too heavy on suspense, too heavy on romance. And I'm really excited about that. And so I'm just kind of all over the board with it, honestly. I also do a lot of nonfiction reading, so like a lot of like political stuff, because obviously journalism.
Right. Some day job, yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Tammy Hogue? She writes some amazing romantic suspense too. She's one of my
I haven't, but I'm going to
favorites.
write her down right now.
Yeah, put her on your list. Tammy Hogue, I think it's Hoage is her last name, but she's really fantastic, really cool. And she writes a lot of serial killers too, so you'll probably go, hey.
Yeah, I definitely plan on doing another serial killer in the future, so I am definitely down to read some more.
Yes. So that leads us right to what's next. What are you working on next?
Okay, so
I know you have a lot of things going all at the same time.
I do. I have, for this year, I'm starting 2 new series and finishing out 2 series, so they're kind of replacing each other. Once in the summer, I'm going to have my sports romance series starting up, and it follows 5 football player brothers who were kind of adopted and all live together, and their sister who plays beach volleyball, and you kind of get to see each of them fall in love and go through struggles within the sport and help each other grow, and it's really cute and adorable. And I'm really excited to write that one because I love football.
Oh, nice. Yay.
And I think that'll be great. The end of the Reaction Chronicles will be toward the end of the year. I also have a series where it's like Big City, Small World, where it feels like a small town, but they're in the city of San Francisco, so it's really not. But everybody keeps running into each other, and everyone's interconnected, and you're just like, what? How do these people? And so it's really adorable, and it has a couple more books coming, and it'll end toward the middle of the year, almost end of the year. And at the very end, I hinted to it earlier, I'm going to be starting an assassin series, which will be following lady hitmen, basically hit women, and they are going to be deconstructing a organization that lied to them, and they are hell-bent on getting rid of them because they are not doing things the proper way. And they didn't like when they found out what was really going on. They were like, this is not okay. I'm putting it into it. So there's 6 of them, and that'll be fun too.
Nice. So you have a lot of things cooking.
I do. I'm really excited.
And before we run out of time, I wanted to have you tell everybody you have a new podcast going too, right? And that focuses on women as well. You want to tell everybody about it?
I do. So under my real name, which I'm fine with, I do a podcast that highlights women.
Oh, I didn't mean to out you.
Oh, no, you're fine, because I kind of promote
Okay, good.
both, so.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
I do a podcast. It's called The Love Chronicles. My name is Randy Love, so if you're just curious, like, why The Love Chronicles? So it's highlighting women. It's women empowerment. It's showing women love, and it's highlighting women doing different things across the genres or the industries. I've spoken to people creating candles and photographers. I've talked to people who have their own vegan food lines who are creating ebooks. I've talked to I have a teacher on the deck. I talked to a mental health professional. So it's just kind of highlighting women and showing what the different things you can do in your life and how you can get into it and why they got into it and the importance. And just, we have discussions about race. We have discussions about success and what you see as self-care and all these different things. And I think it's important because women don't always have that connection that they desire and they need. And that's what I aim to do with it, to kind of show that you have these opportunities there. And then I have an IG Live on my author name, and I talk to romance authors about how they got their start. And it's the same thing, but it focuses more on romance. Like, how'd you get your start? Why are you here? Why are we doing this? Give me some fun stuff.
And how can people listen to the Love Chronicles? Where do they find your podcast? Are you everywhere?
The Love Chronicles is everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, all the different platforms. You just type in the Love Chronicles and it'll be there, and you can listen in. There's 5 episodes currently 4 episodes.
Perfect.
4 episodes.
Perfect. And guys, she's fantastic. I listened to the first episode and I was like, wow. So everyone go check out the Love Chronicles podcast. And we're running out of time, but how should readers get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
So you can find me on the socials in not TikTok. Wow, that's funny. Twitter or Instagram is Shawn Stories, or my website, loveraysean.com.
Great. Everybody go check her out. Her books are fantastic, and the new one will be out tomorrow, Calculated Reaction. And thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.